Most of the anti-abortion bills which have been submitted to state legislatures in the last year and a half have been defeated. But it is only a matter of time before the right to have an abortion, guaranteed in the Roe v. Wade decision of 1973, is tested again in the Supreme Court. Don't be surprised when that happens if the name of State Representative Steve Friend is in the headlines. Friend is the author of the Friend Amendment. We were with him in Pennsylvania the week it was becoming law.
Have a nice day.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be an absolute ball. What can I tell you? Good morning, dear.
Hello,
how are you? Good. How you doing this morning?
Okay. What's your feeling? How do you feel about it?
Very nervous, like in the locker room before the opening kickoff. You know, we'll just have to see what happens.
When it's all said and done, what do you think the legislature is going to be saying about Pennsylvania?
They're going to be saying that at least today they earned their money. They put in a long day.
Steve Friend is considered by some to be the most dangerous politician in America. Are you proud of that?
If I were the pro-life leader in Pennsylvania, but we weren't successful, they wouldn't hate me. I'd be irrelevant. The fact is, I am the leader of the most pro-life legislature in the United States.
Where did this come from?
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
what made me?
Yeah.
I've never been able to understand the logic or consistency in a society that weeps for the killing of the baby seals, that pickets over the killing of porpoises by Japanese fishermen, that halts a multi-million-dollar dam project down south to save the snail darter, and yet permits the killing of 1.5 million innocent unborn children every year.
Our dome is patterned after the dome in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. It weighs 52 million pounds.
There are a lot of politicians in Pennsylvania who apparently hate to vote on this issue and say, oh, God, Friend's going to beat up on me again. So close the door. We're behind closed doors now. What do you say to them?
We're going to bring the bill up. You don't get paid just to hand out legislative citations. Part of the job of being elected official is to stand on the dime and take a stand on the tough issues.
Many members are saying, I can't go any farther than this. I've heard that a lot. And I think you need to make it clear to them that by going this far, you tell him, go farther.
There are always grumblings in his camp. They hate doing this, and they hate him for making them go through it. But when push comes to shove, they put up with it. They roll over, and they say, you know, do it to me again.
Our original strategy in the debate was for me to try to aggravate him to the point where he would try to strangle me on the floor, and then we could have him removed.
The hour of recess having elapsed, the House will come to order.
What makes you so effective?
Number one, do your homework. Absolutely essential. And then have the guts to hang in there, regardless of what it takes, and battle to the very end.
The question is, will the House agree to the amendment offered by the representative from Delaware County, Representative Friend? On that question, the Chair recognizes Representative Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the surprise of absolutely no one, this amendment is the Abortion Control Act of 1989. It was drafted as a result of the United States Supreme Court decision in the Webster case in early July.
Chair recognizes the lady from Lehigh County, Representative Ritter.
I ask my colleagues to resist the pressure to be the ones to give the court the test case to overturn Roe. And I ask you to realize that we may reap a bitter harvest from our actions today. I urge a no vote on the Friend Amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Would you love to be remembered as the engineer which drove the train that overran Roe v. Wade?
I never really think of myself about my place in history. I'm content knowing
Oh,
that
come on.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on. I've never, in 100 countries, I've never met a politician who said that.
On that question, which immediately recurs, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote on the Friend Amendment.
Actually, the only thing in Pennsylvania that moves more quickly than anti-abortion bills are pay raises.
On whether or not the House will adopt the Friend Amendment, the yeas are 142, the nays 59. The amendment has been adopted.
I think we've disposed of the myth, which is all it's been from the other side, frequently with the assistance of the news media, that there's been a massive shift. There hasn't been a massive shift, not in Pennsylvania nor in the United States. But because perception becomes reality, The pro-life movement nationally needed a shot in the arm. They got it today.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and say, damn it, we did it! I mean, it hasn't sunk in yet.
Yes, Steve Friend did it, and for a while he was riding high. After all, he orchestrated one of the few well-defined victories which the anti-abortion forces enjoyed all year. But now the other side was out to get him. Some months later, at the time of the Republican primary in Pennsylvania, we caught up with Steve Friend again. By now, he was running for his political life.
Relentlessness. The ability to come back time and again until your opponent finally realizes that you're never going away and he loses his will to resist. That's the name of the game.
I'm Ellen Fisher.
I'm an obstetrician. I don't believe in pro-choice. It's murder. Like all of them. They're all murder.
This party and this community will never be the same after this race.
How you doing?
Fine.
I'm Steve Friend, your state representative.
Yeah.
Just wanted to stop right and ask for your consideration.
This is it. This is the one that generates the hatred.
I hope you lose. Hope you
Thank you for
die.
coming out to vote and supporting the process.
Oh, God knows I wish this had never become a political issue, the entrance of abortion into the political arena. She is nailing him on that one central issue.
All right, Mayor, see you later. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, you too.
Be good. Now, listen, they're going to make sure they give you the count. So if you'll call in, there's a phone here. If you'll call into the office right away
You mean
with
when
the count.
it's over tonight?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think most people in my district, whether they hate me or love me, will say he's intelligent, he works hard, he does his best to serve his people, and he's got a pretty good record on a lot of issues. But we want to take him out because of abortion.
Kate Michelman at the National Abortion Rights Action
One of
League
my fans. Yeah.
says she will not leave office until you're defeated.
Well, and I hope she has a long term at NARAL. I mean, I am where I am on this issue, and I know that someday it may cost me. Someday it may take me down, and I knew it from the time I began.
Friend, yeah, go ahead. Hello. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 1-3, right, Joe? How we doing? The one area, I tell you, the one area that we won by one vote is bad news. That's 3rd Ward, 4th Precinct. Take these numbers down from me. 64, 117, 164. It's another one we lost. Because we expected to lose that one, but... okay, we carried those. I didn't expect that. We're not doing well. We're in a race. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Doris. How you doing? How bad did we get caught?
We lost 5-2 in Radnor.
All right, appreciate it. Bye-bye. We carried our own precinct by 19. Hello? Well, yeah. Tell you what it means already, even if we win. It means they come after us in November with the money again. Oh, that's beautiful, Mike. Thank you. Pardon me? Well, I'll tell you something. That's one of our better ones. It's close, Michael. We carried Oakmont School by 1 vote.
It was hairy on election night.
Yep, sure was. I've always said life's no fun if it's dull, and that was too much fun.
I drown the sports fans. You gotta love
No, no, no. Come on, Chris. Don't play with me. Thank you, pal. I appreciate it. We're getting there. We're gonna be all right. We were right. Well, for the first time in our life, Maria, we've been in a horse race. It's the first time that we didn't know we won after 15 minutes. Now, worst right, there's 3 precincts out.
He's not going to lose yet.
But it's not enough to do any damage.
Well, I was
We're up by 881, 54% of the vote.
54%.
54%.
Delaware Valley's leading news program.
I'll take it.
The eyes of the nation have been watching the State House race in Delaware County's 166th district, where the legislature's staunchest anti-abortion force, Stephen Friend, faced a challenge from Ellen Fisher, and he staved off that challenge by 8 percentage points.
Speculate for me on how they're going to come after you in November. Polsky.
There's going to be negativism. In fact, his signs say, vote Polsky, stop Friend. I mean, that's the whole thrust of the campaign, stop Friend.
When we began reporting this program, that race in Pennsylvania between Steve Friend and Alan Polsky turned on this issue of abortion, and not much else. Next Tuesday, in hundreds of races, most of them but not all at the state level, we'll see how these powerful individual commitments to the abortion cause will translate at the ballot box. As of tonight, we all know abortion is not going to be resolved to anyone's complete satisfaction, perhaps ever. But when the various state legislatures next reconvene, there's going to be an avalanche of new legislation. And next Tuesday, we will certainly see who has the momentum. Whatever happens, there is still no other issue in American politics which is so personal, so divisive, and for all the parties involved in this civil war, so much a litmus test of a politician's morality. We recall the woman who told us that if a politician stands in the middle of the road on this one, he or she becomes roadkill. In other words, there is no middle ground.
But this is over 500,000. It may be closer to 7.
The National Right to Life Committee will hold its next annual rally in Washington on January 22nd, 1991. The committee tells us that they will not make an unusual effort this year to count the crowd.
And it's stuck. Bang.
Remember the story in George Will's book?
In Louisiana, Governor Buddy Roemer is up for re-election next year. One of his likely opponents is David Duke, a Republican candidate in this year's Senate race, who got 44% of the vote. He is anti-abortion.
But we might get a two-hitter out of it.
Oh, Senator.
Now, wait a minute. I want to tell you something else.
How old is this
On September the 11th, Governor Rudy Perpich of Minnesota won the Democratic primary against a candidate who favored a woman's right to choose abortion. Next Tuesday, the governor's Republican opponent is also in favor of a woman's right to choose.
Absolutely, I'll say it, and I'll give you the documentation.
Alcohol at her election headquarters, Lucy Calais, a Democrat, in a heavily Republican district.
On July 28th, the California legislature passed and the governor signed a budget bill which included public funds for abortion. Senator Lucy Calais voted with the majority.
Sincerely yours in Christ.
Should Justice Shaw be retained?
No Florida Supreme Court justice has ever lost a merit retention election. Just before this one, a major poll showed Judge Shaw ahead by 2-to-1 among people who knew him. But 40% were still undecided.
Should any of them be retained?
There's 3 precincts out.
On the 24th of August, the U.S. District Court in Philadelphia found 3 major provisions of the Friend Amendment unconstitutional. On September the 5th, the state of Pennsylvania appealed the decision to the Federal Court of Appeals, the last stop before the Supreme Court.
6th district, where the legislature's staunchest anti-abortion force, Stephen Friend, faced a challenge from Ellen Fisher, and he staved off that challenge by 8 percentage points.
Because I think we all, as a society, need to get to this woman and have help.
29 in Brazil, one woman.
I'm curious to find the man,
29.
too, that this woman's been
Oh,
with.
it could have been 20 men for all I know.
A presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.